Okay, let's go over my trades for today, Monday, April 18th. We'll go over my main trade, which was Disney. I was just seeing a lot of signals for a short on a lot of different time frames here. On the daily here, you can see how it's trending down, and it is starting to make a common support here around 130, and then like 128. But on the more recent, you can see there's sort of a trend line happening here, and then a good consolidation inside range for 7 days. So when you look at it on the 15-minute, I found a really nice trend line here, and then I found an even nicer 10 out of 10, $130 support level here. But even more than that on the daily, when I zoomed out, I saw other things too. So right around this $128 was the gap fill here, which it had already gap filled on these drops, but nonetheless is still pushing down against this gap fill. So it felt like there was still gravity being pushed down to that level. And then when you zoom out even more, you can see that that gap fill is also support here, resistance here, and then support here. So it's a pretty good like zone. It's pretty so yeah, this 128 was my main target area, but the level to risk off of for me was the 130, which is this compression breakdown. So I struggled a bit. I'm not sure why. I did start late this morning, so I think I just wasn't fully convicted in this 130. Probably need to stop using that as an excuse, but I got in some here, and then I saw it sort of compress here and move up. So then I got out of that with the intention to get back in it closer to 130, I guess. So maybe this was not correct if I was going to get out. My stop for this was up here, but I just thought, why not just get out of it and then just get in it with the better average. So, and that's what I did. And then I added in here. It came up, and this was my main mistake, just getting spooked. Man, these NYSE stocks move so differently, and I guess got to believe in my level and believe in. I mean, high of day was right here, had a little bit of a spread, so this is. I need to let these go a little bit more, and my stop was above here, and I accounted for some kind of movement like this too. So really, this is more psychological here. So this is more just me believing in my system. But anyways, as soon as it came back down, I got right back in. Told myself, okay, I'm gonna let it stop me out up here. If it comes up. And then it didn't. Took off some here. That took a while. I mean, that took a good 45 minutes just to come back down here, which was annoying. And then felt like, okay, now the move is finally happening. This was only a third of an ATR from high to low here. It had decent RVOL, like 90%. I had the higher time frame idea. I was under the clear level, so I really felt like it was only a matter of time till this really trended. And so I got in pretty heavy right here and added into this. I mean, this was decently heavy. Took some of it off though, and then when I felt like, okay, I do think the actual move is happening, I'm gonna add in, and my stop was somewhere up here, and then held it. And these were two pretty big partials right here. So overall, a really good setup that made sense. Fumbled the entries a little bit. Just need to work on believing in my system a bit more, and be willing to risk, and lose some. That's pretty much it for that. Oxy wasn't a huge trade of mine, but I felt like I was reading it pretty well. You can see the daily uptrending, and then we had a bit of a 5-day inside range compression. Felt like there might be a move here today, and there was. When I looked at the 15-minute, these trend lines were even better here and here. Price opened up right around 60 near the top of this trend line, and it quickly got right above it. So then, and then I noticed RVOL was quickly increasing over 100. Then it was at 120. Then it was at 130 during those first couple minutes. So then I told myself, okay, this is a long. How can I get in long? Switch to the 1 minute. I had an order. I don't know. I think I had one of my orders down here. Closer to the trend line is what I wanted. Um, but then, yeah, it was during these couple indecision candles. But man, it just, you could tell that it was looking like it might break out. So I got in, not heavy enough though. Partialed some here. Really wanted it to pull back anywhere in this general area because at this point it hadn't moved an ATR and the RVOL was increasing more. So I just felt like this thing was, if it pulled back more, we were going to get a bigger move up. But that just didn't happen. So and I'm happy with myself for not chasing it. I mean, sure, I could have added in somewhere in here, but I just didn't feel like doing that, especially since it was not really pulling back much. So my RVR was getting worse and worse through every minute. So I got out, I think, 3/4 of my starter and then just stopped at break even there. And that was pretty much it. I like how it held the trend line, so it came all the way down and still held it. But I didn't really have an amazing horizontal level to combine with it, so I wasn't totally confident in where to maybe try it again and get in again. So, but looking at it zoomed out on the 15-minute, you know, clearly it did compress, it did break out with some RVOL. Here was an ATR. It moved close to one full ATR, which is cool, and then it did hold that trend line, like I said, but didn't necessarily keep trending up. So I think this was just like a isolated one day sort of squeeze is all that was. So I wasn't fretting too much about that, about missing that move, because you could see that move was short lived. And yeah, so I don't think I have like a ton of edge on this. I just think I saw something that had a higher probability and got in with the starter position. The Disney obviously was something that I feel like I have a big edge in, and I should be able to get, you know, bigger and focus on that a bit more. And then pins was, I guess, my other successful trade. I liked this as well. I just don't think it gave me the 10 out of 10 level to risk against, but here is the daily. Obviously trending down, right? But starting to make a bottom here at $22. But at the same time, in the last few days, it just gave a really good sort of descending triangle setup. You know, pushing against this $22. So this $22 is sort of pushing against these last few days while also pushing against the $22 from these players over here. Felt like there was some pressure. And here's the 15-minute. To me, this looks like, you know, the Disney a little bit, but it's definitely not. It's not near as clean in my opinion. Here's the $22. I would have wanted the $22 to have lined up with all of these days. So I would have wanted all 3, 4, 5 of these days, or at least 2 of them, to have aligned with the 22, and that would have made 22 a 10 out of 10. So, and then the trend line isn't even that perfect either. So just overall, just felt like there was some kind of compression down, and there was, and I did get some of the move, but it wasn't amazing. Here it was. I think had I really been confident in that 22, I might have gotten in here or in this retest here. But then, you know, after watching it, after seeing it do that and then compress here, felt like, okay, this is getting away from 22. Saw some bids down here. So I got in heavier, sort of the momentum and entry. Partialed some. This was a bit bigger than I would have wanted to right there because, of course, then it started going further. And my main target was 21. So, but I had to leave. Wait, did I leave? I can't remember. I was doing stuff here and there. So, would have liked to maybe have gotten out around here, but didn't make it to 21. Didn't hit my alert and tell me either. So just came up and stopped me out. So fine with that. And then Walmart was my other one. Wasn't amazing, but it made sense to me. I mean, it's near all-time high. It's making a range. Probably shouldn't be shorting it, but clearly there is some selling up here. And I kind of liked this zone of selling down here at 158. I wasn't going to risk too much. I was just going to get in a position and potentially see, okay, maybe it'll break yesterday's low, and then maybe we'll get a higher RVOL sort of move, and we can make it all the way back down to 153. It didn't do that. It still gave a decent move, but let's look at the 15-minute. So yeah, when you look at the 15-minute, you can see clear top here, but not a 10 out of 10 because it is a bit spread out. the high of here was up here. The high of this day was right there. So more of a zone. So I just kind of consider this a zone. Knight on a 10 zone. And like I said, I wanted it to go down and then you know, make another move, maybe even all the way down here. But it didn't do that. And but I did get in at a really nice entry here. But that was a starter. Wanted to get in heavier. Just got a little bit kind of tired and lazy. I just thought I'd add in here and then let it stop me out of break even. It did. It's a shame because it did keep going, but I was kind of busy looking at Disney and pins and stuff. So I don't know. I'm not fretting too much about this. So that's all I did, and didn't trade too much, but I felt like I was seeing good stuff, and I had a good day. Hopefully you guys did too, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.